Good afternoon and greetings to all. I would first like to say thanks to the COVID-19 Task Force for inviting the Bureau to speak today. Now, my presentation would be in two parts. First, I would speak about sanitization, and then I would speak about standards. Now, sanitization. The best method to sanitize, of course, would be soap and water, simply because you increase the contact time by using soap and water compared to alcohol. However, we can't walk with soap and water everywhere. So the best method to use outside in this instance would be alcohol. Now, there are some sanitizers that contain anywhere between 60 and 70% alcohol. However, because there are other additives inside, like things like scents, they would reduce the actual strength of the alcohol. So in most instances, you're not more or less cleaning your hands and sanitizing at the same time. If your hands are oily or if you have any deposits on there, you'll just be cleaning your hands, but you're not really sanitizing. You would have to use a second dose to sanitize. Now, besides alcohol, you can also use bleach, and I'm speaking specifically to in the home now. We're spending a lot of time indoors, which means we'll be doing a lot of cleaning, constantly wiping down cupboards and faucets and a lot of the handles and all of that. It can become very expensive. We're indoors now, I think, over a month. For most persons, especially the younger individuals. So that means that you'll be in the house when the cleaning is being done, so the dilution of some of those strong agents is very important. So for instance, if you are sanitizing, let's say a countertop, instead of using the bleach directly from the container, even though it comes from the factory diluted, and I'm speaking about Clorox to be specific, it's still very strong for the hands. So you can make your own household wipes, for instance. If you have a gallon bottle of water, you can use a third cup of bleach to sanitize safely. Less stress on your hands. And if you're using a 5-liter bottle, then you can take it up to a half cup of Clorox, and you can use that continuously. It's very effective against the SARS-CoV-2, and it helps to eliminate the buildup. Now, if you're using Clorox in the home, you shouldn't be using alcohol at the same time, simply because there would be a buildup over time, and you could be releasing some compounds that could be detrimental to your health. For instance, when Clorox, which contains sodium hypochlorite, when that combines with alcohol, it produces chloroform, hydrochloric acid, and acetone. So which means everybody know chloroform from the days gone where it was used as a sedative to sort of put you to sleep. And if you have that buildup in your house over time, then you could have some of those gases. Even though in small concentrations, they could build up over time. Now, another note would be something like ammonia. You have to also be careful when you're using ammonia and you're using a bleach that contains the sodium hypochlorite, simply because if you combine those two again, you could have the onset of a gas called chloramine, which affects the lungs, and you could have fluid buildup, which is caused by chemical pneumonia. So you have to also be aware of that. And finally, where the sanitization is concerned, and one of my personal favorites would be hydrogen peroxide, because it's less invasive in the environment. However, you should note that for hand use or even sanitization around the house, then you should use anywhere between 1% and 3% to be safe. And if you don't want to continually spray it, you can prepare a bath beside, let's say, in the kitchen faucet or a faucet inside the bathroom, and you can just dip your hands in it for about 30 seconds to increase the contact time, and then you'll be sanitized. So that's it in terms of the cleaning agents and how you would use them around the house. Now I would preface my statements along the standards line to discuss some standards that are now available for use from the International Standards Organization, ISO, which has made 28 standards available for use for free. They're available on our website, and you can find those at www.sknbs.org. And those standards speak specifically to all of the apparatus, equipment that would be used in this COVID-19 fight. So it's very important, if anyone out there is getting into the business of importing some of these equipment, test kits, etc., it's important to look at the standard methods that were used to develop them. That way you ensure that the quality of the product in which you're using is specifically designed to fight this particular disease, which is the COVID-19. Now, in addition to that, I would also like to encourage the local manufacturers who will be making the sanitizers and who will be bottling the water and all of that, to ensure that it is important to still follow the labeling regulations of putting on when the product was made, who it was made by, etc., so we could have contact tracing in the event anything goes wrong in the manufacturing process, simply because we know everybody's under stress and you're trying to meet a great demand, and you might be falling short of supply, and you would be maybe taking a few shortcuts. So we would like to encourage you to ensure that we keep the standards in play, because I'm pretty sure that the task force is already overwhelmed with this COVID-19 pandemic, and I wouldn't like to see local epidemics spurring up from rush practices and shortcuts. So I would like to thank the COVID-19 task force for inviting us, and it's a pleasure to be here. And stay safe, and make sure you wash your hands.